I'm so happy about this one. I mean, with Knock Loose, you expect it to be high, intense, and angry, and to no one's surprise, we just get 27 minutes of absolute chaos. And you're probably thinking 27 minutes, that's a little short for an album. That's pretty much the norm for Knock Loose. I think they realize with the kind of music that they make, you don't necessarily want to have some of these songs drag out and have people lose interest. Like, a lot of these songs are short, but they're short, sweet, to the point, and they don't try to overdo it. And even some of the longer songs on here actually give you a little more than just, you know, your regular, here's a blast beat, here's a breakdown, here's Brian Garris just screaming his fucking lungs out, you know, that kind of thing. With all these songs, they all kind of come together so well. I mean, it starts with Thirst, which is kind of like the kind of an intro track, but it still suffices as a track in itself, right into Piece by Piece, which is just awesome, into Suffocate, which features Poppy. I've gone into detail on this song in a video, so all you really need to know is that Poppy and Brian's voices match well, the intensity's there for both of them, and everybody just does their job. It's a badass song with a reggaeton kind of breakdown with the boomta boomtas, but hey, it works so well. Then we go into another one of the singles, which was Don't Reach For Me. This is a almost 4-minute track that throws you in 100 different directions, but it is just so nice. Moss Covers All is kind of like a interlude into Take Me Home, which I gotta say, Take Me Home kind of caught me off guard a little bit with the way the guitar starts. It's definitely one of the more experimental songs on the album. It's not too experimental, like you're not going to listen to and be like, wow, they really went, you know, out of left field with this one. Sort of like, you know, when you listen to Amo by Bring Me the Horizon and there's like a full-on like EDM song on there with Nihilist Blues. No, this is Knock Loose being able to try different things, but also bring their style into it. And Take Me Home has to be one of the biggest highlights of this album that already has a lot of highlights to begin with. And then we go into Slaughterhouse 2, which features Chris Motionless from Motionless in White. And I made my prediction at the end of the Suffocate video about this song, because I saw it was the only other song that had a feature on it, that this was going to be a lot of growls, a lot of yells, and just angry altogether. And it was. I mean, I know with what Motionless in White has been doing recently with their music, you kind of were expecting maybe something similar to that, but no. I mean, we all know Chris Motionless has it. It was the same thing when they put Poppy on the feature to Suffocate. You're like, oh, this might be a softer song, this might be them trying to experiment, and then when you actually hear the song, you go, well, maybe I overthought it too much. And both Poppy and Chris are just able to show you that they got what it takes to make heavy music like this and can do it. Chris and Poppy, I mean, obviously have gone into those endeavors before, but I think this is the first time in a while that we've kind of heard it as clean as it was. Then we have The Calm That Keeps Me Awake. It's another great track. Into Blinding Faith, which was another one of the singles, which obviously, like Don't Reach For Me, features the pig squeals that Knock Loose will give to you every once in a while, and again, multiple breakdowns. I can't even count how many breakdowns were in this album because there's just so many, and it's all within a short period of time. And then we get to the closing track, Sit and Mourn, which is another one kind of similar to Take Me Home, where at first you're kind of like, okay, this is starting off a little soft, we'll see where it gets. Not that that's a problem, I just think, you know, you don't necessarily expect it, but then it kind of has the intensity in the middle of it, and then by the end it's kind of, you know, easing its way out, which I think makes a perfect closing track. If you're able to ease your way out and let us know the album's about to end, then the closing track is doing its job. And I just think too, the eeriness of it kind of sets in and it kind of catches your attention right away, and it just makes you feel almost kind of, well, sad and whatnot. I mean, the song's called Sit and Mourn, so maybe you're just supposed to feel that way. It's telling you to sit down and mourn all the stuff you're going through right now, and mourn all the people that you've lost in your life that maybe meant a lot to you and that you still can't believe are gone. It's just a strong album altogether. And when I sat down and thought about this, I said, am I really going to do this? Because for those of you that know, I don't just hand out perfect scores at all with new albums. There's rare occasions. I think I've done it like 3 or 4 times, the last being Deftones' Ohms, which was back in 2020. But with Knocked Loose, with You Won't Go Before You're Supposed to, this is the definition of perfect 10 out of 10 record. It's just everything you expected, with a little bit of experimentation that kind of keeps you interested as to what they have in store. Even though some of these songs kind of, you know, have the same formula, all of them feel different, and they all kind of end and go into each other with ease, and it's just, it's nice, and one of the heaviest things that I've heard all year, and possibly a contender for Album of the Year. But it's only May, so we'll have to wait and see. There's more coming out, but for now, this album, banger. Would recommend that you go take a listen, especially if you are in to the more heavier stuff that metal has to offer. But until then, that's it for me. You can tell me in the comments below, what do you think, and I will catch you all in the next one.